What I will be covering in today's presentation is how to identify and respond to some of the most common hazards in the modern workplace. Today, you will learn about how to prevent slip and fall hazards, dealing with chemical spills, how to spot electrical hazards, ways to eliminate clutter in the workplace, procedures to respond to fires and other emergency situations, and also how to prevent cut hazards and the importance of keeping exits clear. Ask yourself, have you ever spotted a hazard in the workplace? And did you report the hazard, or did you assume somebody else would take care of it? The reason we are talking about workplace hazards today is when it comes to workplace hazards, the person who's responsible for spotting them and reporting them is you. When people don't report workplace hazards, they can lead to injuries and can often result in death. Every year, employers lose millions of workdays due to work-related injuries or illness. Thousands of people die each year due to work-related accidents. Even though accidents and deaths in the workplace have declined drastically over the last decades, the statistics are still way too high. A large percentage of these injuries and deaths are caused by workplace hazards, such as fire, electrical, slip and fall, chemical exposure, and others. In too many cases, a major reason for the workplace injuries and fatalities was somebody spotted a hazard but didn't take action. Why? Because the person thought it was somebody else's responsibility. What can go wrong when a hazard isn't spotted or taken care of? Let's look at a few examples. Company 1 stuffed boxes and other supplies up to the ceiling of a cluttered storage room. When a light fixture overheated, the supplies caught fire and it spread quickly. 6 people died trying to escape the fire. In Company 2, water frequently accumulated in the stairwell, and that caused slip and fall hazards. One day, someone slipped and fell on the steps and permanently damaged his shoulder. The company ended up having to pay $150,000 for his medical bills. At Company 3, 2 workers were cleaning ceiling tires and saw a buildup of dust over the tires. They didn't know the dust was explosive. 2 weeks later, a spark ignited the dust and the building exploded. 6 employees were killed in the blast. Let's talk about one of the easiest workplace hazards to prevent, slip and falls. Slip and falls are caused by water, ice, or slick substances on non-carpeted surfaces. Slip and falls occurs outside and inside many workplaces, and they can lead to permanent injuries. In the U.S., every year, there are more than thousands of injuries caused by slip and falls. If you spot water or some type of spill on the floor, stop what you're doing. Don't assume other people will spot the slip and avoid it. Most people don't look down when they're walking. If the slip hazard is in a high traffic area and you know people will be walking through the same area, you need to take action. Here are some steps you can take if you encounter a slip hazard, depending on how serious it is. For small water or beverage spills, dry it with a mop or some paper towels. Spills in the kitchen are a good example of a slip hazard that people can take care of by themselves. Place an object such as a chair, trash can, or an orange cone on a larger spill or a slick spot. That alerts others to the hazard until maintenance can handle it. If you're not certain what the substance is, always let maintenance know about it right away. Don't attempt to clean up a chemical spill, for example, by yourself. For ice on the sidewalks or parking lot, alert maintenance to the problem. It doesn't hurt to let your fellow coworkers know about the condition. If possible, place a cone or a large object on the icy patch to make others steer clear of it. There is one type of spill that you should never attempt to clean up by yourself, chemical spills. If you spot a chemical spill, you need to evacuate the area. Many chemicals are lethal if you come in contact with your skin or if you breathe in their fumes. Report the spill. Let maintenance or your supervisor know about the spill immediately. Call 911 if necessary. If you can't get in contact quickly with maintenance or your supervisor, call 911. Stay calm on the phone. Make sure you tell 911 the nature of the problem and the building's location. Don't hang up until you've given them the information they need. Alert coworkers. Make sure your fellow employees in the area know about the spill. Let people know they should evacuate the building. Electrical hazards can lead to serious shocks and fires in the workplace. There are many kinds of hazards to keep an eye out for, such as exposed wiring in the walls, nicked or damaged cords, smoking outlets or switches, and overloaded outlets. If you think you've spotted an electrical hazard but aren't sure, don't wait to report it. Alert maintenance to what you've seen. Maintenance workers are trained to work with electrical equipment. In many cases, employees cause electrical hazards without realizing it. Here are some examples to keep an eye out for. Space heaters. Many workers bring in space heaters from home to keep themselves warm. Some models can damage electrical circuit strips in offices. They may also have a damaged cord. Get a prover before bringing in a space heater. Computers. Desktop and laptop computers should always be plugged into surge protectors. They should never be plugged in directly into an outlet. If you see a coworker who doesn't have a computer plugged into a surge protector, let IT or maintenance know about it. Extension cords. Extension cords are only meant for temporary use. They should never be used as a permanent power cord for any kind of equipment. Also, watch for extension cords drawing along the floor, which can cause trip hazards, or along the ceiling, where they can become detached and strike somebody walking underneath. Workplace clutter is another hazard that many people don't take seriously and often don't recognize as a hazard. Cluttered rooms and workspaces pose two major risks. If there's a fire in the workplace, paper clutter can make it worse. Paper will fuel a fire and help it spread quicker. Cluttered areas pose obstacles for people. In an emergency, when people are trying to escape a building, clutter can slow them down. Here are some cluttered hazards to keep an eye out for. Trash. If you see rubbish in an area, report it to maintenance. Paper piles. Either fire or throw away paper when it starts to pile up in your work area. If co-workers store piles of newspapers or magazines in their areas, urge them to discard what they don't need. Fire extinguishers. Companies have been fined for allowing employees to hang their jackets on fire extinguishers and stacking boxes next to them. If you spot clutter near a fire extinguisher, report it. There's another reason companies place a high priority on fire safety. Employees have died in workplace fires. Additionally, employees have suffered from burns and lung problems from breathing in smoke. If you spot a fire in the workplace, there are 4 important steps to take. Get away from the fire, even if it's a small one. Pull the fire alarm for the fire department. Alert coworkers to immediately evacuate the building. Only consider using a fire extinguisher to fight the fire if you are trained to do so and the fire is small and concentrated in one area. There are 4 safety points to consider before trying to fight a blaze with a fire extinguisher. Do you have a safe escape route? Check that you've got a clear exit directly behind you so you can escape quickly if necessary. Don't risk if you don't have a safe escape route. Is there a large amount of smoke? Smoke can cloud your vision and mask how large the fire is. Breathing in smoke can cause someone to lose consciousness. Do you have the right fire extinguisher? Not all fire extinguishers are appropriate for fighting certain types of fires. For example, a water-based extinguisher should never be used on electrical fire. Don't spray the fire if you're not sure. Are there hazards nearby? Check for hazardous conditions that could cause the fire to spread, such as flammable materials or electrical equipment. In those cases, if you can't put out the fire quickly, you could be placing yourself in grave danger. In many cases, it's simply not as safe for an employee to fight a fire with an extinguisher. You must consider the risk first. Downplaying the risk could cost you your life. Most workplaces have some cut hazards. Simple tools like scissors, paper cutters, and box knives can cause lacerations. When using a box knife to open a package, never pull the knife towards your body. Always cut away from your body. Make sure to close the box knife after using it. Keep scissors stored in a closed position. Every year, many workers cut themselves on scissors with an open blade. Paper cutters are extremely sharp. Keep your free hand away from the blade and cutting board when cutting. Once you finish cutting, make sure the blade's down and locked. Even envelope openers can cut or punch through the skin. Make sure to slide the opener in a slow, controlled motion to prevent cutting yourself. In a fire or medical emergency, it's vital that exits are safe and clear. That's why it's important to recognize and report hazards that could make escaping the facility difficult. For example, are exit signs lit? If the power fails or there's smoke from a fire, people will look for illuminated red exit signs to guide their way. Are hallways clear from debris? Make sure coworkers aren't blocking hallways and aisles with boxes or other objects. Are exits unlocked? In an emergency, there may not be time to unlock an exit. Alert maintenance if you spot a locked exit. As we've discussed at the beginning of this session, the person who's responsible for spotting and reporting hazards is you. Let's add one more piece of advice to that rule. If you spot one of your coworkers causing a hazard, it is up to you to let them know about it too. Here are 3 examples. Not taking emergency drills seriously. If you notice employees taking their time during an emergency drill or prevent others from exiting the building, speak up about it. One measure that works: our lives could depend on escaping the building in a fire. It's really too serious to take lightly. Driving recklessly. When people speed or don't watch where they're going in the parking lot, it can cause an accident or serious injury. Don't let it slide. Let the person know to slow down next time. Making messes. Co-workers who cause spills and don't wipe them up are creating hazards for everybody else. Ask them how to show more courtesy for their co-workers. Co-workers are best influenced by their fellow employees. The power of persuasion can curb irresponsible behavior that don't put people at risk. The person responsible for spotting and reporting workplace hazards is you. Don't assume somebody else is taking care of the problem. Many slip and fall hazards are preventable. You can take care of simple spills with a mop or paper towels. Employees can unknowingly create electrical hazards. For example, bringing a space heater with a damaged cord into the workplace. Clutter isn't just unsightly, it can pose dangers. Piles of paper can catch fire, and boxes and aisles are in front of exits to prevent coworkers from exiting the facility in an emergency. You shouldn't handle some hazards alone. For example, exposed electrical wiring or chemical spills. When in doubt, alert maintenance to the problem.